Okay, welcome to my video about Streets of Rage 2. I am going to go through the game on the hardest difficulty, which is the difficulty we're doing on Game the System, Game of the Month. I just wanted to create a video to give people a bit more info about the game and how I play the game, but a few strategies to help give them a leg up if they're new to the game. I'm by no means an expert. I wouldn't consider myself a great player at all, but I have played it a fair bit and I've been practicing to speed run the game, although I haven't practiced in a long time. So it's been a while and I'm a bit rusty. But it's fun to just play for score on the hardest, see how far we can get. I definitely can't finish the game on this difficulty, so I'm just going to see how far I can go. First thing is changing the difficulty, hardest. So you can actually, players is actually lives. You can give yourself more lives, but the default is 3. Which it's pretty much an unsaid rule that we play on default unless specified otherwise. So there's different characters. We have Max, Axel, Blaze, and because I'm playing the Japanese version, Sammy. He's called Skate in the US and the European versions. They have stats: power, technique, speed, jump, and stamina. So power is how much damage they do with their hits. Technique, I think, is rating like their special moves, but also the combo in terms of, I guess, its usefulness and usability, I suppose. Speed is how fast they move, how fast they walk across the screen. Jump, how high they jump, and stamina is actually how much health they have. So Skate or Sammy has the least amount of health, and I think he doesn't get used very much, mainly for that reason. Blaze and Axel have the same. Axel and Max are definitely the most popular. Not sure which one's more popular, but yeah, Axel has a good combo and he has the uppercut move, which is really useful, and if you choose Axel, you're pretty much going to be doing just uppercuts all the time, which I'll explain a bit more once we get into the game. So I use Max. He does the most damage with his attacks, and he has the most health. He's really, really slow to move across the screen, but you have a few ways of getting around faster, so I'll show those when I get in. So the first thing is, behind this trash can, there's an extra life right there. You just pick it up by standing over it and pressing the attack button. I'm just going to get rid of these guys so we can talk. Yeah, so the game has items. You just stand over the items and press attack to pick them up, like a lot of beat 'em ups. And yeah, it's just behind this trash can. There's an extra life there. So what I'm doing here is, they call it a blitz move. When you press forward and then attack, every character has forward attack as a special move. So Max's move is to slide along the ground. It's one of the ways that he can move quickly. So you're pretty much not often walking, mostly just sliding. Now with him, I usually try to get the enemy into a grab hold, because that's where he does quite a lot of damage. You can also damage other characters just like that. So usually the best strategy is to try and use those different throwing moves to knock down the other characters. Now, his combo does a really great amount of damage as well, especially if you get in close, because his big His big swing, I'll try and show it here. The big swing actually does 3 hits if you're in close. But you have to be careful because you can be interrupted by other characters when you do that. So it's just a situational thing. If you can stack them like that, obviously it's really nice because the damage is the same across all the characters, or the enemies rather. This guy, it's good to try and approach them either from the top or the bottom. They pretty much can't hit you if you're above or below them. It's actually giving me a lot of trouble right now. So if they get either side of you like that, you pretty much want to use your special move. I should probably explain the actual controls. So you've obviously got jump, your attack, and the A button is your special move. So you've got a defensive special. This defensive special, you can do it as much as you want. If you don't hit anyone, you won't lose health. But you also have an offensive special. You do the offensive special by holding a direction and pressing the special button. I can go left or right with this. It's a dash, as you saw. That one does quite a lot of damage. Yeah, so because they're surrounding me, I'm just going to do that defensive special. Yes, so when you're doing your special, you lose health. With the defensive one, you don't lose health unless you hit someone. With the offensive one, it doesn't matter if you hit them or not, you lose health. So you don't want to go flying around with your offensive special. But the defensive special has some really great applications in situations where you are... the enemy maybe has some invincibility frames, and you want to mitigate that by using your own invincibility frames that you have during your special. Uh-oh, he was going to hit me with that pipe. Another cool thing about Max that is unique to him, he swings the pipe back and then forward, so you can actually hit them from behind. And I'm doing it a lot here because the enemies actually will approach you a lot faster if you're facing the opposite direction. Just like that. And so you tend to actually, whoops, hit them backwards more than you do forwards, really. You just have to watch out for things like that slide, where I actually wasn't hitting him. Whoops. These knife guys, I really hate these knife guys. So that back throw is actually a great way to get rid of the knife. Weapons can sometimes be more trouble than they're worth. Depends on how confident you are with fighting. I sometimes use them, but a lot of the time I just throw them away to get them off the screen. There's a chicken here. So this guy has invincibility frames. When he gets up and he does that punch, crap. So in that case, he was just outside of the screen enough so that I couldn't grab him, which is really frustrating. If I punched him, I still would have hit him, but timed that badly. So you can see there how I can use the invincibility frame to avoid that punch. The problem with that guy is he moves away really quickly after he does the punch. So I prefer to do that jumping neutral attack, which tends to avoid the punch. If you can time it just right, you can basically land straight back on top of him into a grab and then punish him from there. So that move there is one of the most damaging moves in the game. When you have them held from behind, whoops, It's not easy to explain all this stuff while concentrating on the game. Just gonna kill a bunch of these guys. Yes, basically what I'm trying to do a lot of the time is line them up like that so that I can throw one into the other, kind of stack the damage as much as possible. Okay, so let's talk about grabs. So we've got the front grab, and there's lots of different things I can do from that. If I just press attack, I go into this. It's really hard to do when they keep doing that. If I just press attack, I go into the... I need to just get one on its own. Let's see if I can... Okay, alright, now I got you. So I go into like this headlock thing, which actually is the most damaging move in the game. You do quite a lot of damage with this. So that's if I just press it, once I have him in the front hold, I just press attack with no direction. If I hold left or right, I'll do a different move. So I'll show that here. If I hold forwards, I'm gonna knee instead of doing the, it's two knees and then a headbutt. So that's me holding the direction towards the enemy and pressing the attack 3 times. If I want to throw, I can do like a back, is it a suplex? That's me pressing the away from the enemy direction, in this case left, and attack. There's another thing I can do, I can jump while I'm holding them. If I press attack while we're in the air, I do this throwdown type thing. So they're all the moves you can do from the front. Then there's different ones you can do from the back. Actually, the only extra one you can do is that, forget what you call it, it's like a knee drop. And it's not super easy to get them in that position. I'll see if I can get someone in that position. Especially these little guys, because they just die before. Just come here. Maybe if I do this. Nah. Anyway, you saw it before, but I'm sure we'll see it again. So the knee drop, which is the throw from the back. Ooh, something else that's important. That's a bit of a, I don't know if you'd call it an exploit. So this guy Barbon, he blocks, but when he blocks, he still takes damage. The great thing is, this sliding move, it kind of like he gets pushed back, and you move along with him. We didn't really do it again, but you did see it a bit there at the start. You move in tandem with him as he gets pushed back as he's blocking. You're moving forward, and he's just keeps getting hit, and you can take him out like in a couple of seconds. Anyway, that's what they do in the speed runs. Also useful for here, because it's if you can get him in it, it's pretty safe, quick kill. It's a fun way to get with him. So, but it's all about getting the timing right. Like, you have to be standing in the right position, and yeah, it seems to be just when you're just within his attack range, and then you do the offensive special. Okay, so that's throws. Let's talk about. So by the way, when it comes to throws, all the characters have all different moves. It's one of the things I really like about this game. There's a lot of options when it comes to the ways you can fight the enemy. So sometimes I use a pipe here. You have to be careful because these guys can actually pick up the pipe. but it's got such great range that you can be pretty safe using it. Ah. So these guys, I'll tell you a bit about these enemies. The guy in the yellow and the blue biker guys, approaching them is a bit more dangerous because they'll grab you. Like that. Oh, I thought that'd kill him. If they do grab you, you pretty much have to do your defensive special to get out of it. If you don't, then they'll knock you down. So you might as well do the defensive special at that point, because you're going to lose life anyway. Whoops. Alright, there it is. The knee drop. I think of it as the knee drop. So another great thing about that move is that, I forget the term for it, but it's kind of like it's universally damaging. So if you do a knee drop and you do it on top of another enemy, it will also damage whatever enemy you're falling onto. So if you can line up, and this is what the good players do, if you can line up all of the enemies in one stack, you can do some ridiculous amount of damage, like DPS, because you damage them all at once. Yeah, so just there you can see how I'm using his slide to get around, which kind of mitigates his slowness. There's another life here. So just behind the truck there. So because they're surrounding me, I just use the special. Otherwise they're going to start hitting you and they're going to do way more damage than the life you would have lost if you just did special. So okay, should probably talk about that. So you notice that when they throw me, I'm not taking any damage. You can get out of losing health from throws if you hold the direction up and the jump button while you're in the air. You hold it down until you land, and you land on your feet, and you won't take any damage. Too many. Oh, so fast. Okay, so another thing to talk about is the different jump attacks. So you have, if you jump forward and attack, you have a standard attack. It does not much damage, barely use it. You have a neutral jump attack, so if you just jump straight up and attack. This one does a really decent amount of damage when you're max. I think the other characters aren't so great, but this is a really decent move, and I'm going to use it in this next boss fight. Another one is, if you jump, it doesn't matter if you're moving forwards or straight up, and press down and attack, you do a light hit. The good thing about this one is it doesn't knock the enemies over, so you can then follow up into like a grab or a combo, and it's a great way to get into the enemy. You just have to be aware of which enemies have anti-air moves. So like the Donovans have anti-air uppercut, and some of the other enemies have anti-air. Yeah, these are the Donovans. Not a good idea to do that move with them, or to jump in on them at all. You don't really want to jump in on them. Okay, so my strategy with this guy, I'm just going to pause it so I can explain. I basically get to the side of the screen like this, and I do a neutral, like a straight up jump, and I use my neutral attack, which does, as I said before, a decent amount of damage to hit him while he's flying towards me. It's not too difficult to time. Probably takes some practice, which obviously is something I've done. The other thing about this is you need to use his shadow to see where he is. It's a bit hard to see at the moment, but his shadow is just a little bit to the left of that Donovan, the bottom in the middle. So it's probably about, like, I don't know, a meter, I guess. I mean, it's hard to gauge, but it's below him, obviously. It's to the left of that Donovan, below where he is. That's how you can tell, like, where in, you know, the y-axis of the screen he is flying. Without that, it's really hard to tell where he is. So you can see that where my character is standing is just a little bit up from where the enemy is standing, or where the boss is theoretically standing. Now what I do is, once I hit him and he gets knocked back, I will move off of the line with him, I guess. I don't want to be in line with him. And then once he recovers, I'll move back so that I am in line with him, and that will trigger him to do his dash again. And so I'll try and demonstrate that now. And obviously you need to do this while you're avoiding the enemy. Oh shit, okay. So if he does get me like that, I kind of try to move to the opposite side of the screen. Okay, he's dashing. The timing on that one's way different. Okay. Where is he? Okay, so he's down the bottom, so I line myself up, I hit him, I move off the line, back into line, off the line, back into line. When he's closer, he does that one, and it's a lot harder to hit him. So I try and stay away from him, basically. Okay. Off, and back up. And that's basically how you can kill him, and if you can get that right, you should be able to do it without taking any damage. And I'm pretty sure that strategy will work with any character, just the other characters don't do as much damage. And there's definitely better, I don't know if I would say better necessarily, but faster ways to kill him by getting him into grabs and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, problem with having weapons around is sometimes you accidentally pick them up and they cause problems. Okay, so another thing, a max technique that I wanted to talk about, which is a really big part of playing max, is his slide, which is the forward attack. So you can use it like that to basically lock the enemies into a grab, like so. Too many. I was waiting then to see if I could get any of them to walk into the knee drop thing. Oh, not sure what happened then exactly. Funny thing about those throws is they pretty much work to your advantage most of the time, because as long as you're holding up and jump, you will never take damage, but your falling body will damage the enemy. Which is pretty funny. Hate these knife guys, and I'm glad I got rid of him quickly. So one cool thing I've been able to do with these guys is if I can get one of them into the headlock when they're all stacked together, they all take damage. Works really well, except it's not happening this time. That was weird. It looked like they were both in the hold, even though only one of them was in the hold. Okay, so back to the slide. The slide has two like hit triggers, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. There's one at the beginning of the slide and one at the end of the slide. So that's the one at the beginning. It knocks them over every time. The one at the end doesn't knock them over. Shit. Oh no. I was trying to do my special, but I didn't have enough life to actually do it. So when if you don't have enough life to consume what it would cost to do the special, it just doesn't let you do it. It's just pretty annoying. But I guess it's better than dying from doing a special. Really want that one up. So ninjas are pretty annoying. They get up really fast. Oh, that was pretty good actually. Yeah, so anyway, back to the slide. So yeah, it's got a fair amount of range on it. So towards the end, there's like a second hit trigger, and you can kind of use that to getting close to enemies, similar to how you use this downward jump attack, and get them into like a grab or just a combo. But another way you can use it is by timing that second hit when the enemy is getting up. And because that second hit has like I don't know how long it is, like half a second or something, period where the hit is active. If you time it right, you can have the hit window cross over with the point where the enemy's invincibility frames from their getting up animation finishes, right? That's like a really complex thing to try and describe in words, but you've probably seen me do it. Like, that's exactly it. I just did it there. You would have seen me do it a lot of times already. It's hard to do when there's so many characters. I mean, you really need to control the enemies from the beginning. Shit. Tried the special again and I had no health. Alright, so that was the second hit there. Yeah, that's exactly it. Oh, thought he was dead. Oops. I'll try and do it on him. He moves weirdly. I'll try and do it again. Okay. There's some secret stuff in here too. I can't remember where it is. Alright, so that's the first hit. That's the second hit. See how he didn't fall over? The sword's really useful actually on this level. You can use it on the mid-level boss. It's probably the easiest way to kill the mid-level boss. but the positioning's a bit weird. Whoops. Oh, jeez. Okay. Hit detection on this thing is so weird. It's another one that I tend to use the neutral jumps on if you don't have the sword. And you just wait for it to bounce back at you. Is this guy going to try and get me? You can also try and throw the enemies into him. Does a really decent amount of damage. Where did that sword go? Must have finished. Ugh. If you're not sure if you can jump in time, I would say do your defensive special. It's a really weird boss. It's like the jets, it's flying, and if it touches you, it does damage. But you can't, there's no shadows, you can't see where it is really in the vertical space. Wow. Come here, I don't want to fight you together. Why are you staying away from me so much? Ah, fuck it. I really don't want to fight. Oh, God. There's a really easy way to kill this boss, but not with two ninjas around. Wow. It's not a great demonstration for my... Oh, there it is. So you can also do that blocking slide on this guy. There we go. Wow, can't believe I got it. I wouldn't say that's not the easy way to kill him. There's another way you can kill him using jumps to dodge his attacks, and you literally just jump on the spot, and then you do like a suplex throw. Yeah. Anyway, what else do I want to explain? Hope I haven't missed anything. My way of playing is definitely not the only way or the best way necessarily. Oops. I tend to really favour throws, and I know that's not necessarily always the best. You know, you need to gauge it off like how much health the enemy has, and sometimes it's faster or better to just do a combo. Max's combo is so slow though, it's vulnerable to interruption, so you have to be careful of that. Oh. Now, These guys have really crazy range. So that's using that slide, I can pretty reliably get them into that back hold position where I can do the knee drop. Far out. Should have done special there. This slide, because it has such great range too, you can often get them fairly far off the screen. Oh, I always struggle with these girls. I think because they have such great range with their whips and they're quite quick. And they can interrupt the slide. Damn, I thought I was low enough to avoid it. This is definitely not my best play, but it's difficult to explain stuff and play at the same time. These guys get up really slow. You kind of need to learn like the different animations for getting up. Shit. That is not what I meant to do at all. Ah. Oh, I thought that would hit him. I don't know why I got off the red guy. Should have stayed on him. He's almost dead. I think one thing I forgot to explain was the way that grabs work on Wake Up. So you can grab enemies when they get up. Oh yes, that was beautiful. Like that. But you have to be holding... Oh, couldn't special, damn. You have to be holding like a direction. I mean, if you're pretty much on top of them, any direction will do. Ah, there we go. That was using the headlock, attacking, hitting more than one enemy at a time. Pretty cool. So, like I'm walking straight into the end of the stage there because I want to make sure that I get the grab off straight away. You can also use up and down. Oh, I can't believe it. Whoa. There's so many of them that I don't even have time to actually perform the throw. Alright, I'm going to continue just so I can at least show the next boss, which is a very difficult boss unless you know how to beat him. There's a certain trick to it. But I don't know if you can use this trick with all the characters. I guess I can't see why he couldn't. Okay, so he always does that charge, but basically we want him to do this. So at a certain distance, he'll do that jump, and you can kind of, if I time it right, you can. Oh, that was weird. Just gonna get him down. You can dodge it by moving down, and then if you move back up with the right timing, you get him in a hold, and then you can just throw him, and you can keep repeating that. Well, that was a big waste. He's got a lot of invincibility frames, so you can kind of see the distance that I'm using here. It's sort of this distance. It will always trigger him to do that jump. If you go up too quick, you get hit by that, which is, you know, better than you still get him in the hold even if you get hit, so you can still do damage. And you can see at the end there I just did the combo, because if you hit him you might as well do the combo. You do, when you get him in the grab, you do need to throw him like instantly or he will get out of it. He can kind of muscle his way out of your hold. Anyway, I think that'll pretty much do. I mean, apart from all of those, knowing all those techniques and stuff, it's pretty much just about learning to do crowd control, which, you know, I haven't demonstrated very well with this playthrough, but I think that's something that everyone needs to sort of learn to do by playing the game. That get up, that wake up animation is so slow, I can never get the timing right. Anyway, let's call it there. So hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me on the Game the System Discord. Let me know if I haven't explained something properly, but hopefully it all makes sense, and hopefully you can get a bit more out of this game. It's I think it's slower than Final Fight. The difficulty ramps up a lot slower. Like Final Fight gets hard really quickly, and this is not as hard. And I think that was a deliberate choice because it was a console game, not an arcade game. It was never an arcade game, and I think that's why. So yeah, I think it's a fun game to play, and I hope other people enjoy it too. Thanks. Bye.